Well, we are very interested in raising the level of engagement that Gibraltar has with the Commonwealth. And the first step towards achieving that was the meeting that I had with the Secretary General last week, where we discussed some of these issues. We are also now engaging further with a number of Commonwealth organizations. I mean, the Commonwealth has something like 90 different organizations covering many different areas of life. So we have traditionally engaged, for example, with the Commonwealth Games, where Gibraltar has participated in its own right and flown its own flag, with the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, with the Commonwealth Telecommunications Union, with the Commonwealth Local Government Association. So there are a number of organizations or associations of the Commonwealth which we engage with already, but there are more. So one thing the government has set about doing now is establishing from that list of 90, how many more would Gibraltar be interested in having contact with, and would it be beneficial to do that? So it's a lot of work, but we started, progress is ongoing, but it's going well.
And what sort of changes will the public notice in terms of Gibraltar being more involved in some of those organizations?
Well, I think the most important single symbolic act that people will have noticed is the replacement of the European Union flag at the border, at government offices and other sites all over Gibraltar, replacing the EU flag with the flag of the Commonwealth. I think that was an important symbolic statement, and people have got the message. Indeed, the Secretary General herself told me they had heard that we had done this, and they were very pleased that we had done so. So that is a first stage, a simple symbolic act. We've announced already that the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council intends to open an office in Gibraltar, and that is to provide guidance to the business community here in Gibraltar as to the business that is available, the business opportunities that are available with the member states of the Commonwealth. Bear in mind, there are 54 member states in the Commonwealth. That is made up of 2.4 billion people. So, I mean, the market is huge, and the ability to trade, to be able to sell services into these territories, to trade with them, to engage with them on a commercial basis is huge. So it's something which the government is very keen to encourage and to support.
And why have we waited for Brexit to do this?
The reality is that we didn't wait until Brexit. It has intensified after Brexit, but for example, we're already in talks with the Gibraltar, with the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council regarding Gibraltar's participation. We joined, for example, in 2017. There had been contact before then. Some of these organizations, the Royal Commonwealth Society, for example, has been established in Gibraltar for a very long time. As I mentioned earlier, Gibraltar has participated in every Commonwealth Games that has taken place since the Commonwealth Games started. So we have a history and a tradition of engagement with the Commonwealth and of engagement with the organizations of the Commonwealth. And I mean, for example, if you want to go back in 1915, when during World War I, when there was a huge conflict at Gallipoli at the other end of the Mediterranean, servicemen from Australia and from New Zealand were ferried to Gibraltar and given medical treatment here in our hospitals, including the Naval Hospital, as part of the war effort. In 1940, when people from Gibraltar were evacuated, 2,000 of our people were sent to Jamaica to spend the war in Jamaica as a result of what had happened, and then they were repatriated to Gibraltar after that. Even in the 1960s, one of our staunchest supporters and defenders at the United Nations was the government of Australia that spoke up forthrightly in defence of the right of the people of Gibraltar to determine their own future. And you will know that when we organised a referendum in Gibraltar in 1967, at that time the United Nations refused to send observers to Gibraltar, and it was indeed observers from Commonwealth countries that came to Gibraltar to conduct the operation of observing the referendum. So we have a tradition and a history of relations with the Commonwealth, and we want to improve and increase that relationship.
And what benefits will be gained from joining the Enterprise and Investment Council, and what do you mean that it will open its doors on the Rock?
Well, there is the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council have agreed with the government to open an office in Gibraltar, to be able to serve the business community directly and to explain to them directly what those opportunities are going to be. Temporarily, we announced at the time our intention was to host the office in the Brexit Information Office, to have it there together at the same time, but then it will move out and it will have premises of its own. And I think it will be a port of call for businesses in Gibraltar who are interested in trading with the Commonwealth. As I said, it is 54 member states and it is 2.4 billion people, a huge market.
And what will the exercise to determine which Commonwealth institutions we wish to be closer associated to consist of?
Well, there are some Commonwealth organisations that are more relevant to Gibraltar than others. I mean, for example, those that are based on things like agricultural products or manufacturing industry is not really something that Gibraltar has to offer. We may be interested in purchasing from other countries, but we don't have anything to sell in that regard. But I think that there is a huge scope for investment, for development, particularly in new technologies. The Commonwealth is very advanced in terms of the new connectivity agenda that was explained to me when I was in London recently. They're also very interested and very much push the whole idea of the environment and the environmental agenda, the Blue Water Programme, which is something that they have. In terms of universities, in terms of being able to study at Commonwealth universities and equally to allow Commonwealth students to study in Gibraltar, that is something also which could open doors and would allow our young people to have new opportunities. And also I think the Commonwealth are very strong in pushing forward the agenda for young people. I said there were 2.4 billion people in the Commonwealth. 60% of those are under the age of 30. So they have a very important youth program and a very significant youth agenda that includes, for example, us sending people from Gibraltar to the Commonwealth Youth Parliament every 2 years, to the Commonwealth Youth Forum, the next one of which will take place in Kigali, the capital of Rwanda, this year in June, where we also want to send young people. So I think there are very important, very exciting opportunities for young people as well within the Commonwealth family that we belong to.
And of course, we just had Commonwealth Day yesterday. It's a long weekend here in Gibraltar with the bank holiday Monday. But with the government now wanting to increase its level of engagement with the Commonwealth, what about closer to home here in Gibraltar? Will more be done to perhaps celebrate Commonwealth Day here locally and make a bigger deal of it?
Well, Commonwealth Day is not a bank holiday in the United Kingdom, for example, although the UK organises a church service which was attended by Her Majesty the Queen, and indeed the representative of the Gibraltar government in London, Dominic Searle, was invited and also took part and attended the service. But in Gibraltar we need to do more, and that is something the government has now been looking at seriously. We always have an essay competition around Commonwealth Day, and that engages our young people. That is happening as we speak, so there's a closing date. The essays will be judged and we should have the results towards the end of this month.